begin to walk into a heavenly realm. Let the heaven that's in this heaven come into this vessel. This is where you wanted to come. Because once it gets here, every step that you take, then the heaven, then the manifestation of that heavenly realm is already manifested. So it's not about coming into that earth, it's about it coming into this dirt. This is all we are, is dirt that God breathed into. His spirit is Him, but the dirt is the house that He chose for us to have. Right. So if this is our house, it was made, God made man from dirt. So we know when we die, what happens? The spirit is with God, but the dirt goes back to earth. Dirt. And He says,
earthly vessel.
Earthly vessel. Earthly vessel. Heaven actually means to be heaved up consistently. Consequently, there are several heavens. The atmosphere surrounding the earth, the outer space, containing the planets, the galaxies, and beyond. And this is just what I'm saying. Beyond. Those are three earths, but you may be considered to be a type of heaven because it is above the rest of your body, meaning your mind, the way you think is above your body, because your mind tells your body everything you do. Whatever your body does, it comes from your mind. Whenever you start dealing with aches and pains, it first comes from your mind. There's a form of your mind that has allowed itself to get to the form of sickliness. Because as soon as you feel pain, the first thing you start doing is speaking, oh my God, I got a headache. Oh my God, I got this, I got that. Well, you got it. He says, okay, go here, because I want to. Then he says, then as your mind at the bottom, it's the same paragraph. He says, then as your mind is renewed, your entire being will be likewise renewed. As we begin to act out the will of God, we are proving all the things which He has spoken by making them a reality in the earth. And when He says those things that He has spoken, when we're talking about what He has spoken, the only thing God has spoken really that we need to make a reality is the Word. So if we have the Word, then we can make the Word a reality in our life. And when it comes to renewing your mind, that's how we renew our mind, by getting in the Word. Prayer is a form, but if you don't have nothing to speak, then you're not having no power. And if you're not speaking the Word of God, you're never going to have power. Whenever you speak, you're giving out some form of power. Be it bad or good, it's still some form of power that's being spoken. But the key is that you have to begin to speak the Word. And once you continue to speak the Word, then the Word will begin to release the power that needs to be manifested, and you'll begin to see greater power. So we have to release the Word. The Word is what has to go forth. The Word is what has to be spoken. And if you get it in your spirit, then when situations and circumstances come up, how you know your mind is renewed is the way you react towards that situation. Instead of saying, oh my God, you know what, they're telling me that I'm going to have to do this, or such and such is going to happen. And then you'll turn around, you know what, greater is He that's in me than he that's in the world. So, you know, the great one's in me. So what this world is saying really cannot compare to what the great one in me has already told me can happen. So it's the way you speak, the way you think. You can't be talking like your friends. You got to talk. You got to be the leader, not the follower. You know, that's why it's so critical for this youth, for the day, to realize it's not about trying to follow everything. It's about starting and being your own leader. Let yourself be different, because I don't care what's different about you, it's always going to attract somebody. Once you stand up, you always attract somebody. But when everybody looks the same, they don't get as much attention. But when you're different, somebody going to look at you, and they going to say something. Right. Think about it. It says meditation. The term meditation just means to mutter to oneself, or to muttering just means to constantly repeat, constantly keep saying it, just say it over and over. I'm telling you, you say it enough, it has to manifest. It has to show forth. You say it because you get that thing in your spirit, so I don't care what's going on, it'll pop up. Nothing will be literally can take you off guard. If it does surprise you, you'll still have the power within you to speak the power to it when it comes up on you. So meditation just means repeating it over and over, saying it over and over, digesting it. And he gives the illustration of how a cow digests his food. And he chew on it, and then they, it's disgusting, but they chew on it, they digest it, and then they pull it back up, and they chew on it some more, and then they digest it again. But it's the same way with the word. You chew on that word, you speak that word, and then it'll get in your spirit, and then you find yourself walking around and something going on, and then it'll come back up again. And you just keep speaking it when it comes back up. When it comes in your mind, and you start thinking about it, that's when you're supposed to release it with your mouth. Because when you release it with your mouth, that's when you give the power to it. So when it comes in your spirit, it's good that it comes in your spirit, but release it with power. Because you overcome by your words, so you got to let your words go forth, because your mouth, your words carry a vibration which penetrates whatever heaven you try to penetrate. Yeah. So you have to allow the words to go forth to give that power. So speak that word. When it's coming up for a reason, yeah, it's good to think about it, but release it. So then you release it, and then it'll digest again. And then something will happen, or it'll come back to you, and you'll find yourself doing it again. So we have to be ones to meditate on the word, and meditate on it day and night. Sometimes it's even good when you're dealing with certain situations and circumstances, if you can just get that word and allow it to play in your house or in your bedroom all night while you sleep. Because your spirit man never sleeps. And if you allow that word to go and to play and to sleep all the time, and you while you sleep, it's feeding your spirit. And then it will surprise you, because something will come up during the day. You may be walking, and all of a sudden, you may not think you've heard or you're getting fed, but all of a sudden you'll be walking around, and then what you heard that night, it'll start turning in your spirit, and God will start bringing it back to your remembrance, and then you start finding yourself speaking it. So that's why he says meditate day and night, and that's a form of meditating at night when you're not up praying. Your spirit man is still being slept. That's why when you deal with people that are sick, and they always say, well, get the word in their room. Play the word to them. If you deal with, healing, if you just play the word, then that word is feeding their spirit, because the spirit never sleeps. And as long as the spirit is communicating to spirit, then the spirit begins to literally show life. So once spirit meets spirit, then there's going to be an expression of life so forth. So when spirit meets spirit, then healing got to transpire. When spirit meets spirit, then wealth got to transpire. So you have to begin to feed that spirit, man. Instead of sleeping with your television on, and all that other junk get in your spirit. Sleep with the word on. Just let it, sleeping with your radio on, and it's playing all that stuff, and you wonder why you thinking about men and lonely and not having a man and needing to go here, and because you got your spirit on. I need a man, how I love you, and you there for me. You get all that in your spirit, so your emotions kick in. You say, man, I gotta give me a man. God, bring my man. God, bless me with a husband.
Yes, well.
And as soon as you remove your mind,
Yeah.
let me give you a secret about getting a husband. If you're a tie pair, you can get a husband. If you ain't a tie pair, the man you attract will drive you crazy. But if you're a tie pair, you attract a husband. There's nothing you can't get when you pay your tithe. I don't care who you are. Because when you pay your tithe, you have just told God that you have given him what he has asked of you. You have not allowed man, which is anything outside of God, to be your God.